I never thought being quiet would one day hurt my daughter. I always thought silence was safe. But I was wrong. My silence became a weapon I didn't see, until it cut the one person I loved most. My daughter, Ella, was just 10 years old. A small, shy girl with big hazel eyes. She loved old storybooks, soft music, and painting cats in raincoats. She wasn't loud. She didn't run wild or talk back. She was kind, sweet, and always trying to be good. But she was too good to a family that never deserved her. She was born during a time in my life when I felt like nothing. My marriage had grown cold and empty. My heart had cracked in places no one could see. But then she came. Ella. My miracle. She gave me strength again. For most of her young life, I kept her far away from my past. The loud voices. The shouting. The cruel jokes. The cold hands. I thought I was protecting her by not speaking about it. I thought silence would build a shield. But everything changed after my divorce. I had no money. No place to go. So I had to do what I promised myself I never would. I moved back into my parents' house. They said it would only be for 6 months. Just 6 months. Just until I got a new job and saved up. But 6 months turned into 8. 8 turned into pain. Suddenly, I was working night shifts at a diner. My feet always hurt. My hands always smelled like oil. I was tired. So tired. And in that house, I felt like a ghost. Like I didn't belong. And Ella? She became their target. My sister Dana lived there too. She was 32, didn't have a job, and never left home. She always wore fake lashes and spoke like everything was a joke. But behind her laughter was something sharp. Mean. Dana had always been the favorite child. The golden one. Even though I was the one who worked since I was 16. I paid bills. I cooked dinner when Dad was drunk. I cleaned the house when Mom was resting. But still, Dana was the star. And I was the shadow. She looked at Ella like she was broken. She's too quiet. That's weird, Dana would say. Or worse, are you sure she's not slow like her mom? I wanted to scream every time. But I stayed quiet. I told myself not to make trouble. That it would be over soon. But then came the day that changed everything. It was a Sunday morning. I had just come home from a double shift. My back was sore. My feet felt like fire. I was still wearing my apron, and all I wanted was to hug Ella. Just 5 minutes of peace with my little girl. As I opened the door, I heard laughter upstairs. I thought Dana was on a silly call. But then I heard something else. Crying. Soft. Scared. Ella's voice. I ran up the stairs. I didn't expect what I saw. Ella was on her knees, scrubbing the toilet. No gloves. No brush. Just her small hands, a dirty rag, and a bottle of bleach beside her. Her little arms were red. Her face was wet from crying. She looked up at me, ashamed. And Dana? She was filming it on her phone, laughing. My mother stood behind her, sipping tea like it was a normal day. She spilled juice on the carpet, Dana said with a smirk. So we're teaching her how to be useful. I couldn't breathe. You made her clean the toilet, with her bare hands? Dana rolled her eyes. Oh, don't be so dramatic. It's just a joke. She'll be fine. I turned to my mom. I hoped for help. For something. But she just waved her hand. You spoil her too much. That's why your marriage failed. You're too soft. Ella looked up at me, shaking. Her lips trembled. She didn't speak. Just stared, begging for help without words. And I I froze. Not because I didn't want to scream. Not because I didn't want to throw Dana's phone across the room. But because in that moment, something inside me cracked. It burned. This would never happen again. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I walked into the bathroom. Picked Ella up. Wrapped her in my coat. And I walked out. No goodbye. No more chances. That night, Ella cried herself to sleep in my arms. She kept asking me, "Mommy, am I dirty now?" I washed her hands again and again, whispering, "No baby, you're clean. You are so clean." But my heart was on fire. They thought I would forget. They thought I would move on. But I didn't. Because I remembered everything. Every mean word. Every slap I got when I was little. Every lie they told Ella about needing to earn love. I remembered it all. And I decided I would never let it happen again. I didn't scream. I didn't fight them face to face. I did something better. I made a plan. The first step, I called Ava. My cousin. She was the only one in the family who had cut them off years ago. She was smart. She lived in Chicago. Worked as a documentary editor. Once, she told me, "If you ever want to expose the truth, I'll help." I asked if she meant it. She said yes. We got to work. I gave her everything I had. Audio clips of Dana mocking Ella. Old photos showing bruises my mom called discipline. And most of all, that video. Yes, the video of Ella scrubbing the toilet. Dana had shared it in her group chat, thinking it was funny. A girl in the group sent it to me. She said, "I didn't think she was serious until I saw this. I'm so sorry." That was all I needed. While Ava edited the footage, added subtitles, and blurred Ella's face, I kept working. I saved every penny. Took cleaning jobs. Homeschooled Ella. We moved into a small apartment above a bakery. It smelled like sugar and bread. We planted herbs in the window. We named the plants after stars. Ella started painting again. One day, while drawing a girl hugging a cat, she looked up and said, "Mommy, I don't want to go to Grandma's ever again." I held her hand. "You won't, baby. I promise." That was the day something inside me became clear. Sharp. Focused. Now it was time for the next step. I didn't go fight Dana. I didn't shout at my parents. I sent that video to the nonprofit where Dana had just gotten a volunteer internship. They helped young people with their mental health. I also sent it to the school board where my mom worked part-time as a student counselor. The subject line said, "You might want to review who's working with children." Neither job survived the week. Dana's name spread in parenting groups. One post said, "This woman makes children clean toilets as punishment. Calls it love." But this story wasn't just about revenge. This was about a lifetime of silence. So I wrote. I wrote an essay. I posted it online, anonymously. The title was, "When the Joke is Abuse, How My Daughter Was Humiliated by Her Own Family." I didn't use names. But I told the truth. Word by word. Memory by memory. The post went quiet viral. Not big like news. But big in secret places, mothers' groups, survivor forums, emotional healing pages. People commented. I thought I was the only one. This is what jokes do to kids. I'm crying. Thank you for speaking. 1 week later, a publisher emailed me. They wanted a book. Suddenly, I had more than just justice. I had a voice. And I was going to use it. 6 months later, Ella was happy. Her hair was long again. She laughed when the wind blew the curtains. She didn't flinch at sudden sounds. She painted more stars. And once she told me, "Mommy, I think our plants are proud of us." I smiled. Meanwhile, Dana tried to defend herself online. "That video was taken out of context," she said. "It was a joke." My niece laughed too. But lies fall flat when truth has screenshots. Her followers left. Her offers vanished. And my parents? They called. First to yell. Then to beg. "Do you want us to lose our jobs?" my dad roared in a voicemail. "You're tearing the family apart," my mother sobbed. All for a child's tantrum? I didn't answer. Instead, I accepted the book deal. The book told everything. Not just what happened to Ella, but the full history. My childhood beatings, Dana's cruel pranks, the silence that suffocated love. I called it. The joke was never funny, breaking the silence in a family that called it love. It hit number 3 on a small nonfiction list. Not huge. But big enough. Because truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be seen. People wrote to me. Nurses. Teachers. Strangers. Even old classmates. One girl messaged me, "Dana once locked me in a garage as a prank." I never told anyone. Until now. But the best moment? I was invited to speak at an emotional abuse seminar. For counselors, teachers, guardians. It was held at our old school district. The same place my mother had worked. She sat in the audience. She didn't recognize me at first. I wore a blue suit. Glasses. Hair pinned back. I walked on stage and said, "My name is Jessica Bennett. Author. Advocate. Survivor." Then I showed the first slide. It was Ella, blurred, on her knees. Cleaning. While laughter played in the background. Gasps filled the room. I didn't look at my mother. Because the story wasn't for her anymore. It was for the teacher in the back crying softly. For the mother who whispered after, "I made my daughter do things like that. I didn't realize. I'm going to change." Weeks later, I got a letter. My mother had resigned from her job. Not because they fired her. Because she finally saw the truth. Dana? She moved away. Works in a pet store now. No more followers. No more jokes. And me? I published a second book. This time, with Ella. It's called Things We Grow After the Storm. It's not about revenge. It's about healing. It's about roots. And love that never asks you to bleed first. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Also comment where you're watching from.